first thing you have to do when you even begin to try to understand a phenomenon like the Haitian zombie, which is just one thread woven through the fabric of this amazing culture, is to sort of eliminate from your consciousness all your preconceptions.
In 1982, Harvard ethnobotanist Wade Davis traveled to Port-au-Prince to investigate the biological underpinnings of the Haitian zombie. As early as 1938, Zora Neale Hurston found there was a voodoo potion that could induce a death-like state, though she concluded the ingredients were so guarded, no sorcerer would ever reveal them. Wade Davis did what Hurston thought impossible, and over the course of 4 years, he gained the trust of several voodoo sorcerers, uncovering the ingredients of the secret potion and documenting his experience in the 1985 bestseller, The Serpent and the Rainbow. Though Davis is quick to say he's not a zombieologist, he's still considered the world's leading authority on the Haitian zombie.
Now, what is a zombie? A zombie, by folk belief, is the living dead. It's an individual who has been brought to his demise by sorcery, passed through the grave, or at least passed through a kind of a state of death, and then somehow magically resuscitated. Zombies were almost deemed to be off limits for serious academic research. But Lamarck Douillon had found this really extraordinary case of this man called Clerius Narcisse. And what made the case unique is that Narcisse had been pronounced dead in the Schweitzer hospital, and his death had been witnessed by two physicians, both American trained, one an American. There were impeccable records describing his pathology at the time of his demise. 18 years later, this man claiming to be Clerius Narcisse turns up in his home village, claiming that he'd been made a zombie. All these lines of evidence led Lamarck Douillon to go public in about 1980-81, saying that they had found the first medically verifiable instance of a zombie. That kind of opening brought everybody back to a series of reports that had existed in the folk literature of the reputed existence of a folk poison that was said to bring on a state of apparent death so profound that it could fool a physician. Lamarck Douillon had tried for some time to secure the formula of that preparation to no avail, and that's why I was sort of brought into the investigation. Schultes, my professor, the man who sparked the psychedelic movement, he was very much my mentor. I was working in the Amazon, and one day he summoned me to his fourth floor eyrie at the Botanical Museum and asked me if I wanted to sort of go down to Haiti for 2 weeks over spring break and try to find the formula of the drug used to make zombies. Well, naturally, I said, sure. There are lots of plants and lots of animals that are poisonous and that can kill you. We weren't just looking for a toxin that could kill. We were looking for a toxin that could bring on a state of apparent death so profound that it would bring someone literally to the edge of death, a threshold from which they could then recover. And I went down to Haiti and was able to secure the formula of the preparation.
The preparation contains a veritable Whitman's sampler of poisons, showcasing the great diversity of Haiti's medicinal flora and fauna, spanning 2 kingdoms and 8 Linnaean classes. The potions Davis collected included such ingredients as Datura stramonium, velvet bean, cane toad, pufferfish, Hispaniolan boa, bearded fireworm, tarantula, cashew leaves, and the bones of a human child. To the sorcerer who mixes the potions, each ingredient serves a distinct purpose, with the human bones playing a role every bit as important as the psychoactive plants. But to Davis, 2 ingredients held the key to understanding the phenomenon of zombification. The pufferfish contains a chemical called Tetrodotoxin, or TTX. If administered in the correct dose, the victim will find themselves trapped in a flaccid paralysis perfectly mimicking the appearance of death. Upon their exhumation, the victim is fed a paste of Datura stramonium, which obliterates their memory, leaving them in a stupefied, obedient delirium.
We never could prove really anything, but we could show that this was something that had a kind of coherence within the worldview of the Haitian people. If it could not be absolutely proven, it was at least so provocative that it demanded investigation. If you eliminate the other possibilities, you have to allow the facts to speak for themselves. And that's why I was prepared to say very strongly that I thought this phenomenon existed.
In the years since the publication of Davis's work, there's been little formal investigation of the zombie phenomenon. Though teams of scientists and anthropologists have traveled to Haiti in search of answers, they often failed to find what they're looking for. Some have been fooled in elaborate hoaxes, or found that the zombies could be explained medically with conditions such as schizophrenia, and others have been imprisoned or sent home with nothing at all. In Haiti, the use of this powder is a crime on par with murder, and those who concoct it do so with the knowledge that it will be used to destroy a human life. In light of all this uncertainty, I will travel to Haiti to investigate the zombie and attempt to collect poison samples for the first chemical analysis in almost 30 years. My results could support Davis's theory, or redefine our concept of the Haitian zombie. Or I could have a railroad spike driven through my scrotum. I've spent months reading every anthropological and ethnographic report of the Haitian zombie, researching the pharmacology, toxicity, and biosynthesis of TTX, pouring through books on occult magic, medicinal plants of the Caribbean, animal sacrifice, voodoo theology, and African folklore, hoping to grasp the strange phenomenon of zombification.
We are currently 25 minutes from touchdown at Port.
You always have to investigate the belief system that mediates the pharmacological event or the pharmacological possibility. So that really led to the second phase of the investigation. Well, what is a zombie? And the quintessential act of making a zombie is a magical act.
Haiti was once one of the most valuable pieces of land in the world, exporting well over 100 million pounds of sugar each year, in addition to the finest indigo, coffee, and tobacco plants with the largest leaves in the Caribbean. Today, after centuries of kleptocratic politicians and religious oppression, Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. The city is unimaginably chaotic. The streets, alleys, and canals are littered with a skin of organic matter. Peels, husks, and shells of every imaginable food line the sides of the road, waist high like snowbanks. The past 100 years have been especially turbulent for Haiti, including more than 10 U.S. military interventions and an occupation from 1915 to 1934. U.S. Marines returned home with weird tales of potions, black magic, and the living dead. They published their stories in pulp novels which served to inspire a series of horror movies, in doing so sculpting the American concept of the zombie. I arrive at my luxurious hotel. Charles Adams was a frequent guest at the Olivson Hotel, and he used its architecture to inspire the Adams family mansion. The Gothic gingerbread facade bursts with every sort of Victorian ornamentation imaginable: fretwork spandrels, dentate bargeboard pendants, openwork lintels, turned wood balusters, gabled dormers, and spires clad in corrugated iron. Essentially, it looks like a giant haunted doily. Each night I sleep in the Jean-Claude Van Damme suite, named in honor of the great Belgian martial artist and star of Time Cop. I walk downstairs and meet my guide and bodyguard, Alex, who's going to take me to a voodoo ceremony deep in the hills of Port-au-Prince.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Yes,
How's
yes,
everything?
yes. Good. How are you?
All right.
He is a very large man. He tells me that he was shot in the face 14 times, twice in the eye, and it makes it difficult for him to drink alcohol. He also tells me Haiti is the only place on Earth where people can fly.
What time is it that the show starts?
It's 10 to 7.
In Haiti, conversations vacillate between rational and utterly fantastical.
I remember the first week or so I was in Haiti, I just felt I was just blown away by the sense of the spiritual. Where did we get this idea of voodoo as kind of evil or black magic? It really goes back to the fact that if you're to name the great religions of the world, what do you say? You know, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, whatever. There's always one continent left out, you know, sub-Saharan Africa, and the tacit assumption being that black people had no religion. Well, of course, by ethnographic definition, they did.
Voodoo is much more than zombification and poisoning. In fact, these are fringe matters most priests do not concern themselves with. Tonight, we've been invited to attend a bi-yearly ceremony to celebrate Baron Samedi, the god of the graveyard. They paint sacred symbols, or veves, on the ground with powdered cornmeal. Each veve symbolizes a different loa, or god. Each room of the peristyle has a shrine adorned with human skulls, swords, crutches, potions, and bottles of Carlo Rossi filled with the extract of 21 hot peppers. The loa must be fed. I smoke several fat J's and begin to appreciate the power of the music even more. Straddles a child's chair, her face contorted. She's wincing and bouncing as if the chair itself were possessed. For reasons that are slightly unclear, the Loa of Love, Erzuli, asks for my hand in marriage. I'm hesitant at first. Alex informs me that if I ever have sex on a Thursday again for the rest of my life, I will be killed. I ask for a moment to consider my options, but am given no choice, and accept Erzuli's hand in marriage. As an offering to the Petroloa, a well-fed sow is led into the center of the peristyle. The music stops. They saw open the pig's throat with a dull knife, digging around in its neck, pulling out veins and arteries like wires from a circuit breaker, while draining its blood into a large ceramic dish. This is a sacred act, not of animosity, but of love and tenderness. The pig is now an ambassador, serenely ascending into the heavens with a message for the gods. A man is mounted by a loa. He fills his mouth with a cheeseburger-sized pile of burning embers and begins to wildly spit sparks with strands of black saliva dripping down his face. He eats not just a piece of coal, but a 3-course meal consisting entirely of burning embers. It would be a great understatement to say, I am very impressed. The next day, I go to visit Max Beauvoir, a man considered the voice of the voodoo community. During Wade Davis's stay in Port-au-Prince, Beauvoir served as his guide and mentor. But in the years since, he has become the supreme chief of Haitian voodoo.
Rentrez.
Hello.
Comment ça va? How are you?
Hamilton. Good,
Very
how are
good.
you?
Glad to see you. Hello, please come on in.
Beauvoir started his career as a scientist,
And do not be afraid of my dog.
receiving a degree in biochemistry from the Sorbonne, and went on to investigate the medicinal plants of Haiti, patenting a method to isolate cortisone precursors from agave. Though he once straddled the material world of chemistry and the metaphysics of voodoo, Beauvoir has abandoned his lab in favor of a temple in his own home called Le Peristyle de Mariani.
The Westerner is an arrogant person by definition. And in his arrogance, he believes he can put his hands on whatever he wants and possess whatever he wants, including soul, including people. This is why he made slavery. This is why he made so many things. Being a zombie is not something physical that happened to you. It is something spiritual. A zombie is somebody who has misbehaved. In fact, somebody that in any other society they would call a criminal. Most likely, in other societies, this person would have been condemned to death. Our society, like every society, has decided that certain crimes are intolerable. Voodoo doesn't believe in killing people. So in fact, this is why even that person considered a criminal is not killed. We move from him, or from her, that desire of committing bad deeds. And this is what zombification is about.
Max Beauvoir's explanation of zombification is unlike any other I've heard thus far. What he describes sounds strikingly similar to the use of antipsychotic drugs in Western medicine. But unlike pharmaceutical antipsychotics, the knowledge of the poison used to perform this sort of chemical lobotomy is controlled by an ancient secret society known as the Bazango.
Bazango, dans our point, maintain social justice, maintain police and order in our society.
So how would we go about meeting people in these societies? If a foreigner wanted to go and learn about it, how would they do that?
I am the head of the Bazango.
Yes.
Beauvoir suggests I travel to the mountains to find rural members of the Bazango Society who might be intimately acquainted with the secret powder.
All the time that I was working both securing the powders in various locations and trying to understand what the nature of a zombie was and so on and so forth, I kept brushing up against what I later came to understand to be the secret societies of Haiti, the Bizango-Champuel, and that Narcisse had actually been brought before a tribunal of one of these societies and condemned for any number of transgressions. And in the end, I became initiated in these societies, certainly, if not the only, certainly one of the first outsiders ever to become initiated in the Bizango-Champuel.
Not long after voodoo was recognized by whites, they began to fear its power. Slaves found practicing voodoo were harshly punished or killed. Some slaves escaped their masters and formed colonies in the mountains where they could practice their religious beliefs and live freely. They are known as the Maroons. It was the Maroons who organized the first small-scale slave uprisings, which culminated with the Bois Caiman voodoo ceremony, in which all in attendance who vowed to kill their white masters were anointed with the blood of a slaughtered pig. This ceremony sparked the beginning of the 1791 Haitian Revolution led by Toussaint L'Ouverture and established Haiti as the first independent Black republic. It was the Maroons who later became the Bizango secret societies. To some, the Bizango are a sort of benevolent spiritual police force, but to many Haitians, they are a feared band of cannibalistic criminals who feast on the unsuspecting during midnight expeditions. It is here that we meet Thomas the Beaucourt. A Beaucourt is the Haitian equivalent of a sorcerer or witch doctor, shaman or medicine man, a retailer of potions, a plant doctor, a man in direct contact with deep metaphysical realms. We enter the peristyle to find it's meticulously painted with hundreds of images of white people being stabbed in the neck by Satan, or being impaled by Satan while their blood is consumed by tricephalous snakes. There is also a Richard Avedon poster of Natasha Kinski. On the ground are 3 large piles of glistening rock salt and an infant's coffin. It is here that we meet Thomas. Thomas is also the mayor of Ennery.
Hello,
Name is Thomas.
I'm Hamilton.
One guy over here. Yo, t'as aimé mon zombie?
Attends, un zombie. Bon, c'est condition. Quand tu t'as parlé. Moi, comment me lever? Il fait cérémonie, il lever invisiblement.
Il dit, est-ce que c'est eux-mêmes qui préparent pour là pour faire tourner zombie?
Oui, oui.
Pour faire, hein?
Ça son monde.
C'est tête pour nous?
Après, on peut préparer mon ami pour les zombies.
Est-ce qu'on est capable de dire à qui ça peut pas le faire pour là?
Ça arrive à moi-même.
C'est you won't tell you that. Qui est capable de préparer?
Dimanche là, on peut préparer ça.
He said on Sunday he will make that for you.
Les affaires, je ne vais pas ça pour vous. Je fais cher ça pour vous, c'est très cher ici. Je vais 777 $ pour ça.
Pour.
Quand tu bailles mon lunette, ça veut dire.
Combien qu'on vous dit?
777 $.
He said 7,777 US dollars.
L'on lève dans le cimetière. Au fin de lever, marine 2 ailes. L'on le bois pour ouais, c'est réalité liée. Pour quoi? C'est réalité par exemple qu'on haïtien.
Yeah, I said the American doesn't believe in the Haitian. Li croit qu'on est capable de faire le croire vraiment, mais comme ça, il n'y a pas à disposition. Il dit que ça capable de faire, il est capable de $1 000 américains. Si on satisfait à bon l'autre $1 000.
La fin fait l'oueli, l'a tellement payé, il pas jamais bouquet payer ici. Il pas jamais bouquet payer.
He said,
Il va l'autre boire la voile, la vérité, il pas jamais bouquet payer ici.
He said, he will make it for you. Oui, pas de problème, mais Dieu vous a fait, il faut que vous satisfait.
Oui, il a satisfait.
So, he said, you have to give first.
Pour me faire ressentir, ça que dans mes mois, me tirer dans mes mois.
So he said, tomorrow night at the cemetery, he will make a zombie ceremony and you will see the zombie getting up.
Thank you.
Vous voulez mon là, capitaine là? Ok.
The next evening, we drive back into the mountains to meet Mayor Tomas at our designated midnight rendezvous. We enter the peristyle dedicated to the malevolent Baron, and Alex walks in backwards to reverse any spells cast upon him by Tomas. He tells me Tomas is untrustworthy, a man without morals.
Ouais. Donc, on gros question derrière là. Pas du gamme, laisse dehors, il dit mon sac non dit, c'est lundi.
Ah, comment je t'ai fait ça? On fait bail comme ça. Nous faisons un petit rendez-vous, nous faisons un rendez-vous de
nous parler, mon d'aller son.
Donc, il a un rendez-vous. Oh, j'aime pas bien. Nous parlons de grand monde. Nous ne sommes pas capables de dire nous comme ça, tandis que on a capable de dire, si c'est pas ça.
C'est. Ah, vous avez un problème lié. Vous avez un problème lié, on va pas préparer toi-même un problème lié. On dit, on va grand monde,
Will be what's that?
On va grand monde, on va grand monde. Il y a 42 ans après avoir un monde avec un monde. Vous travaillez là, vous avez une activité, vous faites ça faire. Vous avez une gloire, vous avez une il va connaître ce qu'on fait là, mais faire ouais, c'est la vérité. Maman va faire une stratégie matin. Pour me battre, on va dire que vous moi, monsieur. Vous ne pouvez pas payer en seconde, non?
Tomas, now incensed, pulls off his gold-embroidered dashiki and puts on a baby blue gown with a scoop neck and two-button closure. As the associates of Tomas slowly gather around, Alex begins to back away, telling me that it's no longer safe, and we must return to our Mitsubishi Montero. He then calls his friend to arrange a meeting with a different Bokor, deep in the rice fields of Artibonite.
Eh bien, demain, si Dieu l'aime venir, on va faire ça pour eux. Ok, enfant, give it up. Ciao. Bye. Yeah, she just told me that she talked to the owner and everything we need, it will make it happen to us. So let's wait and see what will happen tomorrow.
At night, I experience a feverish dream of Jean-Claude Van Damme, replete with hypnagogic hallucinations. He approaches me, knife in hand, and whispers in my ear, flicking my earlobe with his tongue, urging me to remember what Wade said about the cultural matrix.
I did what one would do is you take all the stuff back for taxonomic identification. You look in the literature to see if there's any reports on what it might have. It was a mix of a plethora of ingredients, everything from, snakes and dried toads and various plants and then these curious fish.
While Alex arranges a meeting with a new Bokor, I decide to see if I can find the ingredients Davis described on my own.
You know, I identified the plants and the amphibians, and I finally went around to the fish guys. I found this ichthyologist sort of literally with his head sort of inside this big jaw of some massive fish he was counting the teeth of or something. And he literally reached up and pulled from his shelf between these dusty volumes of the Journal of Ichthyology a copy of Ian Fleming's James Bond book, From Russia with Love, one of those early books in the James Bond, saga. 007 gets kicked in the shin and he dies, and then he turns back alive in the next book. That's how the guy in the lab introduced me to the fact that I had really landed on something.
The pufferfish is a marvel of evolution and biomechanics. Its internal organs contain one of the most potent neurotoxins ever discovered. It is the TTX in the pufferfish which induces the total body flaccid paralysis, almost indistinguishable from death.
This simple identification of the fish suddenly took the whole zombie investigation from the realm of the phantasmagoric into the realm of the conceivable. The fish that were used in the poisons had a very interesting molecule in their viscera, in their liver, in their ovaries, and on the surface of the skin. And this was a neurotoxin called Tetrodotoxin, which is a complex molecule. It's about 160,000 times more potent than cocaine as an anesthetic. It's about 1,000 times more toxic than potassium cyanide. A lethal dose of the pure molecule would bounce in the head of a pin. But more interesting than its sheer toxicity was the way that it killed. And we knew the poison could do just what was necessary. It mechanically blocked sodium channels in the nerves, which brought on peripheral paralysis, dramatically low metabolic rates, and yet consciousness was retained until the moment of death.
Sylvain! Sylvain! Envoie ici l'homme à clé! Ok. Il va où?
Yeah. Yo.
Oh wow, he got it. It's all puffed up. Oh my god.
The fish is shot with a spear gun and pulled out of the water. The entry wound is close to the brain, with an exit wound in the stomach.
Oh wow, look, it's puffing up.
Much to my astonishment, when it's pulled out of the water, it begins to inflate itself, despite the two gaping holes in its body. How is this possible? I tentatively identified the fish as Diodon hystrix, a species so poisonous that people have been hospitalized from merely touching the spines.
The fish that I found in Haiti being used in these preparations were members of a pan-tropical order of fish called the Tetrodotoxin, which also include the famous fugu fish of Japan, the culinary delicacy. For centuries, or certainly for generations, specially trained chefs have been preparing these toxic fish. They carefully eliminate the toxin so that the person can enjoy the non-toxic fillets of the fish. The real role of the fugu chef is not to eliminate the toxin altogether, but to reduce it to the extent that the connoisseur still enjoys the effects of mild intoxication, which include waves of euphoria, tingling sensation. It's one of the few substances that walks the fine line between food and drug.
It sounds like there's sort of like a biphasic thing where it's like it starts out with the TTX poisoning, and then they're given scopolamine or atropine.
So we've talked, for example, about the tetrodotoxin, but then what's fascinating is that by all accounts, as a zombie comes back around, he is fed the paste of concombre Nzambi, the zombie's cucumber. Now this is based on datura, and it includes, of course, these tropane alkaloids, scopolamine and atropine.
Davis hypothesized that the chemicals in the zombie cucumber were used to keep the zombie in a state of submissive confusion.
There's one right there.
But I'm not so sure that this is Datura stramonium.
Oh, it has to be older?
Yeah.
This would be the perfect drug to kind of socialize the individual into a new state of kind of psychosis, if you will. These are powerfully active drugs. They bring on a state of induced psychotic delirium, visions of hellfire, a burning thirst, a sensation of flight. These are the drugs of choice of every black magician and sorcerer throughout the world. And they create a kind of a psychic dislocation that is described invariably by anyone who takes the drug as being incredibly terrifying.
After the preparation, which consists of a despining and crude hepatectomy, the remaining organ meat is scrambled, salted, and served on a silver dish.
There was this enormous literature on just what these fish could do to you. Turns out, by folk custom in Japan, if you succumb to fugu fish, you're laid on the ground for several days to make sure you're really dead. And there are case after case after case in the literature and in the newspapers of Japan of people nailed into their coffins by mistake.
On this dish is a species of puffer which is known to be poisonous. In October, a season where the fish is known to contain deadly quantities of TTX, yet nobody around me seems concerned in the slightest. The meat is chewy, and I'm delighted to say tastes almost indistinguishable from chicken.
At the time, no one really understood the biogenesis of the toxin within the fish. There was a tremendous amount of variability, and we knew that 50% of the time these fish were not toxic at all. But what was fascinating is that this meant that at least 50% of the time these toxins would be ineffective pharmacologically. So what's going on here? Well, that really turned out to be the key to the puzzle. Every drug, in a sense, particularly hallucinogenic drugs, you know, they have an absolutely neutral potential for good or evil, an ambivalent potential, and that everything depends on the cultural matrix in which the drug is used.
That morning, I wake to find a gaping burn in my forearm, oozing a purulent gleet. I stir and begin to vomit, begging for an antidote. I find Jean-Claude sitting next to me. and he encourages me to remember that the antidote is my mind. Alex knows a Bokor who knows a Bokor who knows a Bokor in Artibonite. So we drive for many hours until the road disintegrates and the wheels of our Mitsubishi Montero will turn no more. The peristyle is located over 5 miles from the nearest road, and we cross the path in the midday sun without water, each step bringing me closer to heat stroke, collapse, and death. The ground is still wet from the previous night's rain, and the air vibrates with bloodthirsty insects. Alex tells me that this region is notorious for the use and sale of zombie slaves, and that the Bokor we have come to visit might even keep some in his rice fields. After hours of walking, I enter the Bokor's peristyle, surrounded by goats, mango trees, and a fence of living cacti. I'm introduced to the Bokor, Crescent. Unlike the last Bokor, Crescent carries himself with total confidence, like he has nothing to prove. He's laid back and looks at me in such a way as to suggest not only that he knows, but that he knows I know he knows.
Produire, fait, un bail qui tue mon nez, bail qui lève mon.
Mais oui, ça me s'est dit, ouais, bon, ça, c'est un homme qui non fait pour le dire. Pour ça, c'est lui-même.
C'est pour là?
Mais oui.
C'est dans ce pôle.
Taper sur la table, souvent un citron, il commence à gratter, on entre encore malade là. Pour nous là, il compte. Ouais, ça l'a tué même vraiment.
Could I see the bottle?
Not the bottle, right?
Yeah.
I hold the glass bottle with no more than 300 milligrams of beige powder. It's impossible to say anything about its potency or authenticity just from looking at it, but it's still exhilarating, my first glimpse of the legendary powder. Crescent dares me to try the powder, casually mentioning he is equipped with a powerful antidote.
Polo! Aliment au tissu de mon mari, là-bas sur maman, du bon tissu de maman. Sur le tissu de ma vie, oui,
Ask him how confident he is that he'll be able to reverse the effects with a lemon.
Il dit que est-ce qu'on est sûr que à 100% que avec citron, il n'y a pas aucun problème. He said, yeah, it's sure that you won't get any problem.
Okay, what is your thought on this, Alex?
You know, for myself, I was not going to try it, but if you want to, you can go for it.
Non, je connais. Même pas les pour. C'est pour appeler moi, pour nous dire, on accuse.
When he suggests I use the powder, I'm torn between scientific skepticism and the desire not to die an agonizing death deep in the Haitian countryside. I decide Crescent is offering me the poison as a test. Should I demonstrate my strength, I will have gained his trust. And should I be wrong, Crescent assures me that he has an effective antidote on hand. 1/2 of a key lime.
Peut-être que la prenne lui-même. Lui-même la prenne. La prenne lui-même. Peut-être qu'il la prenne.
Though the lime provides me with little comfort, even the most well-equipped hospitals in the world have no antidote for TTX, because thus far, one does not exist.
Ask him what the dose is.
Il dit quelle quantité vous le prendre. N'importe quelle quantité.
Prime pour la peau.
Some of the feather. The feather will take some and then.
Crescent frowns and leans away from me, insisting that I do not let any catch wind and blow onto him.
Some powder is on the end of the feather.
I dip the chicken feather into the glass bottle, allowing a mote of beige poison to cling to a single barbule. I brush the mote of zombie poison onto my arm.
I don't feel anything at all.
Il va sortir.
Le boucher tape. Sous pour les mettre. Même mettre là. Pas le mettre sous lui.
You can
Tape sur
take
lui.
it and get it on your...
That's gonna be a lot.
Croissant changes his attitude and leans in towards me. He grabs the bottle and pushes the mouth to my skin, turning it upside down, revealing a ring of white powder,
Boucher.
the size of a quarter.
La machine. Gâte Michel. On a gâté Michel là. Comment il dit?
Over the course of 6 minutes, I allowed the powder to dissolve on the wet-hot skin of my forearm, with 2 millimeters of skin between the powder and my thirsty rushing capillaries. I am not a hypochondriac, but there's nothing that will make you more aware of your throbbing, roiling, bubbling physiology than waiting for one of the world's most potent neurotoxins to kick in. Reeling through a mental checklist of symptoms, I am still not experiencing anything.
How do you feel now?
I don't feel anything at all. Other than I feel some mild terror that I'm going to die, but nothing distinct.
The powder is ceremonially removed from my arm with a lime. The poison is encircled and then circumscribed with 2 strokes forming a cross, and that's all. If the powder did contain TTX, the ascorbic acid in the lime would have only increased its water solubility and helped it cross into my blood. But even then, not enough time has passed for the paralysis to have set in, unless the dose was truly massive, in which case I will be dying shortly.
Peut-être après aller sans Michel là. Tape cherche Michel.
As I wait for the TTX to present its symptoms, I feel it an appropriate time to breach the subject of zombie slaves.
Well, thank him for allowing me to experiment with his powder. Ask him if there's zombies in the building behind us.
Est-ce qu'on va montrer où ça va ZOMB?
Quel est pas content?
Ouais, pas content, ça, c'est sûr.
Parce que non, je dis pas ça. Combien de bail je dis pour elle?
After negotiating a price with Croissant, we agreed to donate a generous sum to his peristyle in honor of the Loa, Jean Nzambi.
On est là après nos affaires, pas oui. Je vais regarder pourquoi tu. Tu vas me prendre pour envie, oui. Quand on sait là, on sait là, nous.
Entranced, Croissant begins a ritualized door knocking and key jingling ritual, finally pausing before a locked door I have looked at all day.
Oui, c'est ça.
Alex, can you ask him what's beneath the cloth?
Os zombies sont pas aux opposés des zombies, après on va pouvoir la tête encore. Des têtes dans l'air, ma dingue tête dans l'air là, c'est baissé des têtes. Bon celle-là. Ben bon en fait baissé. Là quand tête dans l'air seulement.
The first thing you have to do when you start thinking about zombies or voodoo is step outside of the cliches. And this really forced me to realize that, you know, I might be on the outside looking at the zombie thing in a certain perspective, but when you're on the inside, you know, Narcisse, or a Haitian like himself, wasn't sitting there thinking, do or do not zombies exist. I mean, he knew in the very fiber of his being since childhood that zombies existed. He knew exactly how one was created. He knew exactly why one was created. And so that's sort of the template upon which all these drugs are going to work.
Quello che ben messi, so di messi. Io non appena bene fenomeni non ha. Abbiamo copié, abbiamo avec.
Oui, c'est libre plus que.
On va mettre beaucoup trop ça pour vous.
To our surprise, the Loa Jean zombie refuses to take the local currency.
Voilà, j'ai un. Pour nous cabines Nzambi. Depuis ça on dit on va pour faire. C'était dans la pleine one.
Crescent is irate, but tells us he will have prepared a new poison the following Saturday.
Quand les $25 dit que ça va être monter la première acheter là mais encore un banque bancaire. Et quand c'est pour pauvre qui veut mon gang pour capter. J'aime souvent envie manger une blague. On est crasé, bon manger. Moi même pas dans grand ça mon non. Que ça fait là. Doit vivre envie manger une
Since leaving Crescent's peristyle, I've been plagued by questions regarding the man I saw locked in the shed. Unlike classic descriptions of the zombie, this man was not shy nor sullen. Indeed, he was screaming. It would be equally foolish to blindly trust or completely dismiss what I have seen, but I can say with certainty that it chilled me to the very threads of my cultural tapestry. Today, I'm going back to the rice fields of Artibonite to collect the potions that Crescent has promised. I meet with Alex, who fears Crescent may attempt to rob us, and so has brought his friend from the Special Forces.
Hamilton.
Serge serves as the personal bodyguard to the president's sister's husband. Alex has brought along a magical potion to protect us. Serge has brought a duffel bag full of guns and takes a moment before we leave to hide one under each seat in the car. Again, we drive for many hours and find the roads completely blocked with a large funeral procession supporting a wooden coffin. As we walk through the fields, I am facing the unknown. I have no idea what to expect from Croissant. He could give me the poison, or poison me with the poison, or shoot me in the face 14 times. We are deep in the country, and should we need help, it will be unavailable. At first, I find this frightening, but I'm comforted knowing that Alex's lithe, agile body will be quick to respond to any threats.
Monsieur Bouton, tu
C'est grand-mère. Ok. Ok, va chercher ça. J'espère.
We arrive at Croissant's, bearing gifts of Barbancourt rum to show our goodwill. He seems pleased, but I'm anxious to see this new poison and how it might differ from the last, seemingly inactive powder he gave me.
Can we see the powder then?
Hein?
Il t'a mis au tout là.
On va réciter. D'outils.
Yeah?
En outils. Ici, c'est ça, non, ça.
They call it the weapon.
Does he still have any of the ingredients left over? Does he have...
Est-ce que il reste bail que tu prépares là, ouais, ça t'a montrer.
Ah, mais reste pour me faire, ouais. Il reste, côté de me faire là, voilà, voilà.
You said you can go with him.
Okay, fantastic.
Ma vie. Bon, le moment est à l'homme.
Croissant offers to let me see the laboratory where he concocts his leaf medicines, but he says that I must accompany him alone, so Alex stays behind.
Bagay kon sa san sekre. Bagay kon sa san sekre. Moun se vil. Yo tout moun konnen.
Can you ask if I can come closer?
C'est le cas avancé.
Tu m'as avancé. Je vais piler pour la fermer. Je vais me fermer, je vais faire. C'est ça que vous faites piler. J'ai comme ça pour proposer. On va faire la caille. C'est ça le centre là. C'est le qui fait traitement. C'est côté où il fait les médicaments.
Can you ask him what he was just crushing up?
Ils sont crasés avec manche pilon.
Peut-être.
Ah, the skeleton boy. Can you ask him if he has the zombie cucumber?
Oui, c'est un autre qui me compose à tout net. Tout ça est des besoins. Oui. C'est des pays qui m'ont non, ça là pour.
Il n'y a pas d'autre.
Je vais faire déjà, je vais dire ça, je vais faire mettre là, je vais faire la caille moi.
The powder is retrieved from a child's coffin and presented to me. I'm delighted to find he has given me not only a poison, but also a new powdered antidote.
That's the brown container?
Salut du fait. Ça encore la réveiller l'enfant.
How much money does he want for those 2 bottles?
Il dit combien nous avons besoin pour 2 bouteilles.
Ok.
15, 16, 17, 1,000 US dollars.
C'est ça. Ok.
At last, my mission is accomplished, yet the man holding the poison has a face strikingly similar to the zombie I saw yesterday. Would Croissant make so shameless an attempt to fool me?
Parce que si vous avez un travail, 2 ou 3, c'est un bon monde à peine. Qui est si bon, qui est si pas bon.
I went to Haiti to investigate a mystery, and a mystery is exactly what I found. Upon my return to New York, I bring the powders to the laboratory of my friend, Jason Wallach.
Hello. I've brought some samples of zombie poison from Haiti.
Great. All right, we can look and see what's in these.
He subjects the powder to extensive chemical analysis,
Say 100 milligrams, probably good to start.
first filtering the material to find it contains a large quantity of sand and numerous unidentified hairs, likely of goat origin. The remaining material is then extracted to detect alkaloids and run through TLC and GCMS. When he is finally finished, we can say that we know for certain the secret ingredients: allyl alcohol and methylparaben, two non-psychoactive chemicals commonly found in cosmetic products. And so our powder is inactive. Fake is too certain of a word to use, but pharmacologically speaking, it's certainly inactive. And in terms of TTX content, the potions Davis collected were practically inactive as well. So what can one make of an inactive powder? Within the magical belief system of Haiti, zombification would be possible in the absence of any active drug. That is to say, the pure power of their belief in magic could produce a self-induced psychological zombification. I saw a man in a shed making some unusual sounds. Whether his condition was caused by a Bazango Bokor, I cannot say. In Haiti, I know the placebo can take on new heights of untold potency, and whether my inactive poison is truly inactive cannot be said outside of that strange Caribbean island. I watched a man in the throes of spiritual possession and swam with the puffer and had a mysterious powder transdermally applied to my forearm, but my search is not yet over. I promised the goddess Erzuli that I would return to Haiti, and I have no intentions of breaking her vengeful heart.
We never could prove that Narcisse had gone through this experience. My research was totally misinterpreted by the media. You know, what I had or had not discovered was always kind of exaggerated. I was sent down to Haiti by kind of linear, rational Descartesian scientists to quote-unquote find the drug that's used to make zombies. Well, no drug can make a social phenomena. And in the end, instead of finding the drug used to make zombies, I found myself, you know, investigating the sort of the social and psychological and spiritual and political and historical dimensions of a chemical possibility. And the whole purpose of the research in the end was not to sort of prove zombies existed, which it did, but really to take a phenomenon that, as I say, had been used in this explicitly racist way and turn it on its head, make sense out of sensation, and in doing so, try to draw attention to the preconceptions and misconceptions and that we had about this extraordinary worldview of Haitian voodoo, and that this was not a black magic cult, but this was a kind of amazingly complex metaphysical world.